The Broncos are heading east this week, where they'll find a Bills team that's getting closer and closer to nabbing one of those coveted postseason berths. We'll dish out our predictions in a minute, but first, we're serving up a few stats to hold you down. When you're starting an inexperienced QB, sometimes it's best to have him perform the simplest play a quarterback can make: turn around and hand it off.
With a burst of 11, he takes it out to the 31-yard line.
Philip Lindsay was his usual self last week, which means he was effective with a 4.2 yard per carry average, but maybe a little underused again. Not being allowed to get 20 carries in a game, which he's only done once this year. His timeshare with Royce Freeman is part of the explanation. Plus, this week they face a Bills D that has allowed almost 4.5 yards a carry, while playing lights out against most passing attacks. So with what we saw from Brandon Allen last week, you'd think it might be time to crank the volume knob up on the Broncos' run game. The Bills, meantime, may want to see if their QB wide receiver combo can keep it going through the air.
And it's caught! Brown, and he is into the end zone for the touchdown!
John Brown had 2 TD receptions, 9 catches, 137 yards last week, and Josh Allen finally had that game Bills Mafia was waiting for. 3 TD passes, no picks, over 250 passing yards, and a shiny 117.7 passer rating. Yes, it was against the Dolphins, but Allen needed to start somewhere, and it was his finest performance with his arm this season. He also gets a Broncos unit that is reeling a bit after Kirk Cousins went 29 of 35, 319 yards, 3 TDs, and 133.2 passer rating against them. So maybe Allen catches them while they're on their heels. It's fair to point out, Denver had been one of the most difficult teams to throw on prior to that game, so there is a chance you see a correction on that front. And that's why it's always nice to sport a strong ground game.
On the run, he's going to run for it. Allen lunges. Touchdown!
Allen ran for 1 TD, and Devin Singletary continued to look more and more comfortable as lead back, picking up 75 yards on 15 carries. The Bills' ground game has been dangerous all year, too, picking up over 4.5 yards a carry. So they can always default to pounding the rock if Allen is struggling against Denver's secondary. Are the Bills going to put another notch on their belt and inch closer to that coveted postseason spot? Or are the Broncos going to play spoiler? The timer just went off, so time to pull out those predictions.
3rd and 9. Allen over the middle, completes. First down and more, it's Knox, and he will stroll in for the touchdown.